Paige Suite of Harvard University defines gaslighting like this. It is a type of psychological abuse aimed at making the victim seem or feel crazy, creating a surreal, interpersonal environment, she wrote in The Sociology of Gaslighting. Let's get straight into the 19 phrases that narcissists will use to gaslight you. Phrase number 1, I did that because I was trying to help you, or I did that because it's what you wanted. This is something that a narcissist will tell you repeatedly after abusing you, neglecting you, doing something hurtful towards you or people you care about, in order to reframe the interaction to put themselves as the savior rather than the persecutor in the Karpman triangle. If you look up the Karpman triangle, K-A-R-P-M-A-N, instead of being the persecutor, which they really are, they're trying to position shift unconsciously to the role of savior. They want themselves to appear virtuous and kind. So after abusing you, they'll tell you it wasn't abuse, that they're doing what you wanted them to do, or they did it to help you. Phrase number 2 that you will hear from narcissists when gaslighting you. That's not what happened. So narcissists are experts at denying data and denying reality. They've been doing it for themselves since they were small children in order to cope with the traumatic and stressful environment they were raised in that caused them to develop this delusional reality broken disorder called narcissistic personality disorder. When they interact with you, they subsume you, they draw you into their world as an internal object, and you are forced to live in their world with them, which is a delusional world that deliberately negates and denies reality. Any reality that tries to come in, that negates their false self, their grandiose vision of who they are as the great savior or the biggest victim or the biggest martyr or whatever it is, all of that gets negated. So for them, of course, it's completely natural to rewrite history and tell you that your memory is faulty. Phrase number 3, you're crazy. They will make you feel like your grip on reality is weakening. Any and all information you've ever given them about completely normal, completely common mental health problems you've had in the past is now going to be thrown in your face, and they're going to tell you you're crazy, just like that time you had to take time off work because you were depressed, or you took time off school because you had anxiety. They're going to try to convince you that there's something wrong with your ability to tell fact from fiction. Phrase number 4, this is why you don't have any friends. This is why you fall out with everybody. As adults, as we age, it becomes more and more of a challenge and requires more and more conscious effort to develop new friendships and to maintain the friendships that we have. It's just a fact of life. But all of us can feel across time like maybe there is something a little bit wrong with us, because it just isn't as easy when you're 41 as it was when you were 21 to make and keep new friends. This is a vulnerability, this is an insecurity that every single adult has. The narcissist knows this and will use it against you. They'll make you think there is something wrong with you by saying, whatever it is you're complaining about, whatever act of abuse that I've committed and you bring to me, I'll be like, you're crazy, that never happened, you're hypersensitive. This is why you don't have any friends. Phrase number 5 that narcissists love to use. This is all your fault. What a wonderful way of driving somebody crazy. To do something horrible to them, to hurt their feelings, to negate their version of reality, to show them that the way they feel and what they want just doesn't matter through abuse or neglect, and then turn around to that person and say, this terrible thing that I did has happened to you because it's your fault. You made me do this, or you caused this horrible situation to come into being. It's a fantastic way of making the target feel isolated, vulnerable, wrong, and crazy. Phrase number 6 that narcissists will use to gaslight their victims. That is hardly important, or this really doesn't matter, or I don't know why you keep bringing this up. So when you have an issue, when you have a desire, when something is important to you and you raise it, it will be diminished, it will be diminutized, it will be treated as something trivial, it will be trivialized, so that you feel bad, you feel guilty and ashamed every time you bring up this perfectly relevant topic. They may do it through their meta-communication, through their body language, by suppressing a yawn when you talk about it, or gasping and going, making faces when you start to talk about the thing that bothers you. Or they may actually overtly say to you, this just doesn't matter, this is not important, stop bringing it up. That's to make you feel guilty and ashamed for bringing up things that are of a concern to you. Number 7, that's not what I meant. So if you catch them out and you say, this is what you said, and they go, that's not what I said, and you're like, well, I recorded it on the phone, here's the playback, and they go, okay, that's what I said, but that's not what I meant, is to shift the intent, because who knows what the intent of words are? You can always claim that words had a different intent. Literally, no matter what the words are, you can at the very least say, oh, I said that outrageous, horrible, vicious thing as a joke. I was joking, or I was testing you, or I wanted to see how you would respond. I mean, if we're as evil and stupid as they are, we can come up with our own justifications. It's just not natural for you to do that because it's kind of a weird thing to do. But it's what they do naturally and spontaneously. They'll say terrible things. They'll deny that they said them. If you can prove that they definitely did say those things, they'll say, okay, I did say that, but it's not what I meant. What I meant was something positive or helpful, or I was being funny. And you are just too hypersensitive. Number 8, it's not that big of a deal. Why do you keep bringing this up? Why is this so important to you? Why are you so hypersensitive about this? Again, you're seeing a pattern now. Everything that is done is to make you feel guilty and ashamed for your legitimate concerns about this person's behavior, their words and their actions to you and to other people, in either neglecting or outright abusing you or the people you care about or the things that you care about. Number 9 phrase, you're too sensitive, you're hypersensitive. My God, you're so paranoid. If they can convince you that there's something wrong with you, or that your emotional reaction to a terrible thing that they've done, a legitimate emotional reaction to something terrible that they've done, and they can convince you that the problem is in you because of your hypersensitivity, or because you have a particular issue, like a trigger issue around this one thing, then it's a great way of putting the blame back on you and off them. 10th phrase that narcissists will use when gaslighting their victims. It was just a joke. I was just joking. Of course, I didn't mean that I would do that with your sister. That was just a joke. I was testing you. I just wanted to see what your boundaries are. I just wanted to see whether you would think that was funny. You know me, I have a crazy sense of humor. Again, this is a way of playing with language. A human being can say a sentence and it can have multiple meanings in multiple contexts. And then you're into an argument about intent. But how can you argue what the intent of another person is? You really can't. You can only say, well, it seemed to me as though your intent was malicious. And they can say, well, that's because you're hypersensitive, just like your mother. My intent wasn't malicious. I was trying to be funny. Saying that everything was a joke or misusing humor is a great get out of jail free card for somebody who's trying to absolve themselves of the responsibility of the horrible things that they're doing. The 11th phrase that narcissists use. You're overthinking it. Like, why do you think so much about these things? Why are you so neurotic? Why do you put so much thought into it? It's just not that big of a deal. It was just a joke. Why are you so hypersensitive? Why are you overthinking this? It's the same pattern again and again. You have a legitimate concern about something that I did that was actually of ill intent, that really hurt you. And now I can say to you, you're just overthinking this. You're making too big of a deal of it. It's the same thing every time. The pattern is there to diminish your concerns, diminish your needs, diminish your wants, and to make you feel guilt and shame for even bringing it up. The 12th phrase that narcissists love to use. You're being paranoid. These are variations on a theme. You're hypersensitive. You're overthinking it. You can't take a joke. You're being paranoid. Again, it's a way of me batting the ball back to you and saying it's not me that has the problem. It's not that my actions are genuinely, objectively immoral. It's that you have the problem. You're just paranoid. Now, you as a reasonable person, especially if you're a codependent, you have something of a fawn response, you might look at this and go, well, as a conscientious human being, I should consider the possibility that I am paranoid. Yes, but being a reasonable, responsible adult, which would be good and healthy in a relationship with another reasonable, responsible adult, in a relationship with a narcissist, just pulls you deeper and deeper into the quicksand. Number 13, you're making that up. That's not what happened. Here's a great way of reframing their ability to alter reality and to alter history and erase history and make it that it's you that's doing it. You're the one who's now altering history. You're the one who's now inventing things and creating a delusional reality. The whole time it's me. and I know it's me, but I'm going to say it's you. You're creating the delusional reality. Now imagine living with somebody like this day in, day out for months and years on end. How could you not start to lose your grip on reality? I mean, you love this person, you trust this person, you sleep with this person. How could you not start to begin to lose your grip on reality? This is why people end up with a lot of stress-related physical conditions after prolonged exposure to personalities like this. Number 14, you're overreacting. This goes in with you're paranoid, you're hypersensitive, you can't take a joke. Now you're overreacting. The thing that I did, okay, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect, but there's no need for you to respond this way. Another example of taking a legitimate concern about an objective act of malice that was designed to neglect or hurt and to cause pain, and saying that it's actually you that has the problem, even though I'm the one doing it. Number 15, I love this one. I've heard this from a couple of girlfriends in the past every time we would argue. I don't know what you want me to say. It's perfect. It's a perfect form of gaslighting because it absolves me of the responsibility of an actual authentic human response. You've caught me doing something that I shouldn't do. You've caught me, and now I'm like, well, I don't know what you want me to say. As though the issue is that you want me to say a thing and I'm just not capable of giving you the thing that you want. Not that I've actually done something wrong, but that the problem that we have right now is you are in a desirous state of me saying a certain thing and I don't know what it is. Fantastic reframe, absolves me of responsibility, and probably will exasperate you, the target, to the point of going into a state of learned helplessness, because where can you go from there? We're no longer having an adult-to-adult authentic human interaction. We're now in a game of ping pong, trying to see who can win. And once you've absolved yourself of the moral duty, duty of care to find an adult resolution, of course you'll win. Because instead of trying to find an adult resolution, the only thing I have to do is exasperate you. So whilst you're being conscientious and moral and trying to figure it out and make it work, I can just wear you down with exasperation by saying things like, that's not what happened, you're too sensitive, I don't know what you want me to say. Number 16 phrase that narcissists love to use when gaslighting their victims. Everyone agrees with me. Everyone? Who is this everyone? Who is this general public collective of which you speak? They will make this I think it's a logical fallacy. It's an appeal to authority in a sense. It's an appeal to the authority of the collective. You're wrong, I'm right, and I know I'm right because everyone agrees with me that that's normal behavior. Everyone agrees with me that that's a funny joke. Everyone agrees with me that it's perfectly normal for me to do X, Y, and Z. It's you that has the problem. You've got the theme here when it comes to gaslighting, right? You're the problem. Not me, not my actions, not my behavior. You're the problem. And of course, across time, this will start to wear down your ego boundaries and make you think, maybe I really do have a problem. And that's when you start to lose your grip on reality. Number 17, how dare you accuse me of that? I really enjoy this one. I've even seen it in court cases where people have been caught doing something that they shouldn't have done. And in front of a judge, they will say, I would never do that. I would never do that. It's like, we've got you on video doing it. Save your moral outrage. What do you mean? I would never do the thing that you have caught me on video plainly in black and white doing. I would never do that. It's a way of gaslighting the people around you into a state of confusion by placing the blame back on them. It is an outrage for you to even accuse me of the thing that I have completely and totally done. Outrage. The 18th phrase, I can't have any negative emotions when I'm around you. I'm not allowed to feel bad. Or they'll say, nothing I do is ever good enough. Again, it's a way of making the problem, the things that they're doing, the negative, nasty things that they're doing, a you problem rather than a them problem. So there's no responsibility for them. Nothing they say or do that is in control of their, that is in the wheelhouse of what they could do something about is applicable here. It's all about you. And it's your fault. It's your fault. 19th phrase that narcissists love to use when gaslighting you. You always blow things out of proportion. Typical way of making it seem like you're the crazy one for challenging me legitimately for doing horrible things to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed that video. Gaslighting is a pernicious and nasty way of emotionally manipulating a person. You do not want to be trapped in a situation where you're being gaslit regularly. It can have very serious effects on your mental health, which then can become quite serious effects on your physical health when you start thinking about stress-related conditions. If you would like to know how to escape being in a narcissistically abusive relationship, we have a course for you called Unplugged from the Matrix of Narcissistic Abuse, and it's available from this link below.